Hello friends. Right now, thousands of Australian retirees are approaching July 1 without realising that a few small changes to their finances, reporting details or payment arrangements could affect their Centrelink entitlements over the coming financial year. And here's the problem. Most people don't lose money because they intentionally did something wrong. They lose money because they assumed nothing had changed. They assumed Centrelink already knew. They assumed their superannuation changes weren't important. They assumed a part pension wasn't worth applying for. And by the time they discover there is an issue, they've already received a debt notice, missed a valuable concession, or spent months receiving the wrong payment. If you're receiving the age pension, preparing to apply, or helping an older parent manage their finances, today's update could save you thousands of dollars and a great deal of stress. Because before July 1 arrives, there are 3 critical Centrelink changes and review areas that every Australian pensioner should check. Some retirees may be receiving less than they should. Others could unknowingly trigger an overpayment, and many people don't realise they are sitting in a financial grey area where one small decision could affect their entitlements for years. We're going through all 3 today, using real-life examples and explaining exactly what you should review before the new financial year begins. But first, if you appreciate practical updates that explain Australian retirement rules in plain English, take a moment to subscribe. Centrelink rules change regularly, payment rates change, thresholds move, concession arrangements are updated, and the people who stay informed usually have far more options than the people who wait until a letter arrives in their MyGov inbox. Now, let's begin with the first major change, because this one catches out retirees every single year.
Change number 1. Your financial position on July 1 can affect your entire pension assessment. Many pensioners think Centrelink reviews their circumstances once and then simply keeps paying them. That isn't how the system works. July 1 marks the beginning of a new financial year, and it often becomes a major review point for income, assets, deeming arrangements, and reporting requirements. What surprises many retirees is how quickly a seemingly minor change can affect their pension. Did you receive an inheritance? Sell an investment property? Cash out part of your superannuation? Receive insurance money? Downsize your home and temporarily hold a large amount of cash? All of these situations can change your assessable financial position, and many retirees don't realise that the money sitting in their account after these events may now be counted differently for Centrelink purposes. Let's use an example. Imagine Margaret, age 74. She sells her family home and plans to purchase a smaller unit closer to her children. For several months, she has hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in her bank account while she looks for her next property. She assumes Centrelink will understand the situation automatically. But depending on the circumstances and timing, different rules can apply regarding how these funds are treated. If she doesn't understand the reporting requirements or provide the correct information, her payment assessment could change unexpectedly. Then there are retirees who have received inheritances. Maybe it wasn't a huge amount, perhaps it was $40,000 from an older sibling's estate. They deposit the money into savings and think nothing more about it. But financial assets matter under Centrelink's means testing rules. The amount itself isn't the only issue. How those assets are assessed and reported can influence payment calculations. The same applies to superannuation decisions. Many Australians over age pension age move money between accounts, change investment structures, open new term deposits, or shift into different retirement products. Each of these decisions can alter how their finances are viewed by Centrelink. And because Services Australia now has sophisticated data matching capabilities with financial institutions and government agencies, discrepancies are increasingly identified quickly. The days of assuming that an outdated figure will never be noticed are largely over. Another issue involves household contents. You'd be amazed how many people either dramatically overestimate or underestimate the value of their possessions. Furniture, appliances, collections, boats, caravans, and recreational vehicles can all become relevant. Some pensioners value their belongings based on replacement costs. Others forget assets they still own. Neither approach is ideal. Before July 1, ask yourself, has your cash position changed? Have you received a lump sum? Have you sold an asset? Have you opened a new account? Have you moved superannuation funds? Has the value of your investments changed significantly? Because even one overlooked update can create complications that may take months to sort out. And as important as this first issue is, the second change may actually affect more Australians because it involves something almost every pensioner depends on, their fortnightly payment.
Change number 2. New financial year indexation and payment reviews could change what you receive. Ask any retiree what concerns them most right now and you'll hear similar answers. Groceries, electricity, insurance, council rates, medical costs, the cost of simply living. That's why every adjustment to pension rates matters. But here's where confusion starts. Many people believe that if their payment changes, Centrelink will automatically explain everything in detail. Unfortunately, that's not always how it feels from the recipient side. Sometimes people notice a different amount deposited into their bank account and have no idea why. Other times they assume a reduction is an error, and occasionally they miss an increase they were entitled to because another piece of information wasn't updated. The new financial year is an ideal time to review your payment situation. Has your relationship status changed? Did your partner pass away? Have you separated? Did someone move into your household? Did you begin receiving another income stream? Have you started drawing money differently from superannuation? These events can affect assessments. Consider John. He's 79 and recently lost his wife. Naturally, his attention is focused elsewhere. Paperwork becomes overwhelming. Appointments pile up. Bills continue arriving. Eventually, he updates one government department but assumes all other arrangements will sort themselves out. Months later, he discovers his circumstances haven't been fully reviewed across every area that affects his entitlements. Sadly, this kind of situation is not unusual. Major life events often create administrative confusion, and during periods of grief or stress, important financial updates can easily be overlooked. Then there are retirees who receive only a small part pension. Some believe the amount is too small to matter. Perhaps they receive only a modest fortnightly payment and wonder whether it's even worth keeping. But here's what many Australians don't realise. Even a relatively small pension entitlement can provide valuable concessions. These can include healthcare savings, medicine discounts, and various state and territory benefits. For some households, the concessions attached to their pension status may be worth considerably more than the actual cash payment. Yet every year, people unintentionally lose access because they fail to review their circumstances properly. Others never apply at all because they assume their assets are too high. That assumption can become very expensive. There are also retirees who become eligible for assistance but don't know they should reassess their situation after major financial changes. Maybe investment values have fallen. Perhaps they have spent down savings. Maybe their living arrangements have changed. Circumstances evolve. Eligibility can evolve too. Before July 1, it's worth asking yourself one simple question. Am I receiving every payment and concession I may be entitled to under my current circumstances? Because many Australians are not. And now we come to the third and arguably most misunderstood issue on this list. This one involves family decisions, gifts, and financial help. And unfortunately, it creates some of the biggest Centrelink surprises of all. Change number 3. Family money decisions before July 1 can have long-term consequences. Australian families help each other. Parents help children buy homes. Grandparents contribute towards education. Retirees lend money during difficult periods. Many people simply want to see their loved ones get ahead. There is nothing unusual about that. But from a Centrelink perspective, certain financial decisions can have consequences that people don't anticipate. Every year, retirees make decisions with the best intentions and then discover those decisions affect their age pension assessments. For example, imagine a couple decides to give their daughter $50,000 to help with a house deposit. They believe reducing their savings will improve their pension position. Instead, they later discover that Centrelink rules surrounding gifts and deprived assets can be more complex than they expected. Now they have less money available to themselves, while parts of those funds may still affect their assessment. It's a situation that creates enormous frustration. Another common example involves adding adult children onto bank accounts. Parents often do this for convenience. Maybe they want help paying bills. Maybe they want someone to access funds in an emergency. But account structures and ownership arrangements can sometimes create confusion regarding who owns particular assets and how they should be treated. The same issue can occur when retirees move money between family members, establish informal loans, or restructure finances without considering Centrelink implications. Then there are older Australians who help grandchildren, contribute towards renovations, or sell assets privately to relatives. Again, the intentions are usually generous. The problem is that generosity and government assessments do not always operate in the same way. This is why July 1 is such an important checkpoint. A new financial year encourages people to reorganize finances, review investments, and make family decisions. But it is also the perfect time to pause and ask, could this decision affect my pension? Could it affect my concession eligibility? Could it create reporting obligations? Could it have consequences I haven't considered? Because the last thing any retiree wants is to discover a problem months later when reversing the decision is difficult or impossible. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happens to many Australians every year. So before July 1 arrives, there are 3 critical areas every pensioner should review. First, check whether your assets, savings, superannuation arrangements, and financial circumstances have changed. Second, review your payment situation and make sure your personal details, relationship status, and concession eligibility accurately reflect your current life. Third, think carefully before making family financial decisions involving gifts, transfers, or major restructuring. The biggest financial mistakes in retirement are rarely caused by bad intentions. They happen because people assume the rules won't affect them. They assume someone else has already updated the information. They assume there will be plenty of warning. Unfortunately, that's not always how it works. A few minutes spent reviewing your circumstances before July 1 could help protect your income, preserve valuable concessions, and prevent stressful surprises later in the year. If you found this update helpful, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future Centrelink and retirement updates. And please share this video with another pensioner, a neighbour, a sibling, or an older parent. Because sometimes one conversation and one timely check can save someone thousands of dollars and months of unnecessary worry. Thank you for watching, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next update.